Hey guys, if you would like to see how I made these gorgeous glitter paste cards and join me for a chat, stay tuned. Hey guys, I thought I would come on today and just bring you along while I make a card for my nan's birthday, which is very, very soon, and I'm going to use my glitter gel pastes. So I bought this kit at a craft fair I went to. So I've got sapphire blue, purple, obviously, white, red, fuchsia, yellow, silver, gold, and emerald green. These two are absolutely gorgeous for Christmas projects because they are very, very glittery. Yes, so the gold, the purple, no, the gold and the purple are satin pastes, so these don't have glitter in the same way as these. These are a lot smoother. The rest are glitter frosting pastes, which just mean they've got a little bit more texture. And it comes with a palette knife and some tape, which I think is a really nice kit. I think I'm going to do Peacock for my nan and the lady with the floor hair for my aunt. And then we're going to do the and steampunk style thing for another. So for these ones it's not so important, but for this one it's a 15 by 15 stencil. So if I use one of my 6x6 cards, which isn't actually 6x6 annoyingly, yes, they're pre-made ones, pre-made ones, and I bought a box of them, and they're something ridiculous like 5 3/4 by 5 7/8, or 5 7/8 by 5 15/16. It's so annoying. I should really cut them all down so that they're the same size, but I just don't have the energy. Now that does fit on there beautifully actually, so that can go. I'm wondering if I just do that straight onto the card base. No, I'm going to do it onto some black. So let's get a piece of black for this. So we want a piece of black, and we want it to fit this. Like so, and then I can trim it down afterwards. So we'll go to here. Are these the same size? Yes. So if we do here, just leaving myself a little bit of a lip so that I can stick this to it with the tape, and I know it's not going to slide everywhere. Okay, so let's grab this. And we will start cutting this down to here. Then we'll cut across the top part. There we go. And then this will begin half for each of those. And then for our black piece, I can find, there we go, find the white markings. Couldn't find my pencil mark then, don't mind me. So, right, there we go. Let me pop these back. I should really do a craft room tour at some point. But yes, possibly in a few weeks. I'm in the middle of making 2 mini albums at the moment, so the room is a mess. There are project piles everywhere. You can't see, but just sort of off from the side to me, this side bit of my desk is covered, and here I've got a little pile of bits that I'm hoping you can't see. So we'll start off, we will join, using our low tack tape, we will join our stencils to our bits of card. So what I'm doing is I'm going to stick it down, fold it over so that it doesn't shift. Okay, so yeah, how are you guys doing? I'm not exactly sure when this project is going up yet, but currently we are still in May, and the latest information that I have from the NHS is that I need to stay shielding until the end of June, which seems like such a long way away, but then at the same time it doesn't, because I've been unfortunately very ill over the last year or so, and I had an operation in October, and it set off a really huge lupus flare, which meant that yeah, I was still investigating things, and it's had positives because I've got new medication now, which is the reason I have to shield, because it's an immunosuppressant, so it has basically destroyed my immune system. Does this one not have an open bit? That's annoying. Oh no, there we go. I've obviously broken it off. Yeah, so it has caused a lot of my isolation problems because it's an immunosuppressant, so it's basically destroyed my immune system. But the purpose of that is to try and get my immune system to stop attacking me, because yeah, that is what it is currently doing. It is fighting off me, which is making life a bit tricky, I'll be honest with you. So yeah, it's been a tough old year in terms of my health, unfortunately, and it's really messed up everything work-wise, and I just feel absolutely terrible. But as I say, the positive to come out of it and all the investigations that they are doing is that I do now have new medication, which I think is helping. There are days where I'm sure it's helping, and there are days where I'm 100% sure it's not, so it's hard to know really, but I think it's definitely positive anyway. So here are our three, and I'm thinking we're going to do those, maybe a bit of green. I think we do a pink and silver, pink and gold, pink and silver I think, and then in here we're going to do gold, possibly some red. So yeah, there are positives and negatives, but I think, oh, I've still got another, X amount of weeks, 5-6 weeks before I can even leave the house for something other than a medical appointment. And then I look backwards and think, actually, do you know what? I haven't left the house in so long anyway. It's not really making that much of a difference, which is, But yeah, how are you guys coping with the isolation and the quarantine? We've currently had things relaxed here in this country, which I worried about in the first place anyway, because the advice given was very wishy-washy. Now, I have to admit, I've been criticising Trump as of late because his insistence that hydroxychloroquine is helpful against the current issue is doing my head in, because it isn't, and that is a common lupus medication, and I know lots of people who I'm in touch with through my lupus support groups in America can't get their medications. Thankfully I'm no longer on it because I'm on a new medication, but it upsets me. So I have been sort of criticising Trump recently, and then I saw what Boris Johnson said for us, and yeah, I mean, I have no words. Could you be more vague? I don't think he could, and the whole purpose of it is so that he can't be blamed when people are stupid. And then, as the proof is in the pudding, yesterday, pictures of people on the beach in their thousands, no social distancing, no anything. So we're definitely going to get a second spike. So all of this is definitely going to go on longer. So all those people who have been so selfish and were like, oh, I just need to get out and see my friends. It's great. I want to go and see my friends. My nan was really ill a couple of weeks ago. I was desperate to go and see her, but I didn't because I can't risk her or me. And I'd rather not see her for another 3 months and have her live another couple of years, you know, than go and see her for 5 minutes and then she ends up in hospital ill, catches something from someone else, and then, yeah. Sorry. This was meant to be a calming, chatty video. I'm going to start with... this one because it's bigger and I can be a bit more slapdash with it until I get my my hands working properly, because they're still quite sore today, but I've taken my gloves off because this stuff will stick on the fabric of my gloves and I don't want to ruin them. I am tempted to actually put some other gloves on, but I'm not going to right now. With this, we'll start with the gold. It does look really crusty when you go in, and you do have to sort of give it a bit of a smoosh around because it's been stuck in its pot. But the good thing is the pots are airtight, so because there was some air in the pot where it's not completely full, it does thicken up a little bit, but it is still spreadable. So what I tend to do is I will bring it up to the top, and then I'll take a portion out, and we'll start up here. Okay, and I'll just spread that across, and then I move to the back of my palette knife. I find that spreads it a bit better, because I can scrape off the excess and move it around. Let's try and complete this cog. And the same with our red. So where did that bit go? Let's get that bit up because I don't really want that to end up in my carpet. So now this is all soft down here, but this end bit near the top is a lot harder because it's been closer to that lip. So just give it a little bit of a mix, just to you can really see the glitter in this red. I absolutely love it. Love, 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 love it. So good for Christmas. One of my favourite cards I've got is one of the Christmas tree stencils in red and green, and I absolutely, oh, it was beautiful. So, right, let's get some red. We'll start with some red over here, and red here. Now, it might be worth, and I might in a minute, doing this with a metal palette knife as opposed to a plastic one, because the plastic one does tend to bend, which is a bit tricky when it is this dry, but I still prefer it this dry to it being horribly wet, because it does seep underneath and that can really ruin your designs. in the pot. There we go. I'm going to try just the bit I put in, because this red is very, very dried out. I evidently did not seal it properly. Oh, there we go. Look at that already. We're getting a much nicer texture. I'm going to have to clean the edge of this pot completely, I think, because I think that might be my issue. It's quite crusty around the edges. So, oh, look at that. It's already easier on my hands. And that's the thing for me at the moment, is I'm having to focus making sure that crafts are easy on my hands, because they are playing up. They're definitely better with this new medication. I'm not gonna say they're as bad as they were, you know, a month or two ago, but it is unfortunately not consistent. So I'll have really good days and I'll have days that aren't so good, and it's just the inconsistency really that hurts, that means I can't do things because I am too busy trying to, you know, overcome the pain or what have you. So I have to do days where I work on whatever it is I'm doing, and then I'll have to have a couple of days where I can't really do anything because my hands have to recover. And I know that sounds really bizarre, and I know it sounds really bizarre. I'm not going to sit here and pretend it sounds normal, because even to me, even though it is my normal, it sounds bizarre. But yeah, so that is all of our red done. I'm going to give myself a little bit of a quick clean up because I have managed to get it everywhere. A tiny bit more gold just to fill out the gaps that we've got. So I've still got some gold on here, because I wanted to sort of make sure it was, there are some bits that are gold, some bits that are red, some bits that are both. And so for that I needed to have the red down first in some areas and the gold down first in some areas. We'll get a little bit more of our gold out. Let's go over here. And on top of that red area. So I will get some, see now I'm picking up red and gold, which will make it quite interesting when I'm adding it into other areas. But I quite like that. And then you will notice this is starting to dry on the stencil, especially the gold. I do want to try and get this done relatively quickly so that it doesn't dry too much on the stencils. The stencils are good, they will clean off. So what I'll do straight away is I will wipe it off with a baby wipe, and then I will put it in a bowl of water. Try and get some of that red off so I can put it back in the gold for a second. Get a tiny bit more gold. So yeah, and then I'll put the stencil in some water so that it cleans off. Awesome. So what they suggest that you do is that you peel off 3 sides. So we'll do this one, and I'm going to leave it attached to the stencil. I'm just going to remove the tape from the card, and it is low tack tape, so it's not going to rip, which is good. And then we'll give this a lift off and we'll see how it looks. Now, with this being steampunk inspired, if there are bits missing, I'm not actually that bothered, which is positive. But so I'm going to hold down the card and I'm going to lift up our stencil, and I'm going to be very pleased with that. That is gorgeous. Yes, happy with that. Now you can dry this with a heat gun, or you can just leave it to dry. Because I'm doing 2 others, I'm just going to put it to the side to dry. We'll do Our Lady. I'm thinking flowers pink, and then we'll do grey over the top, grey, silver over the top of everything else. How is this? This is, oh, this is much softer. A little bit too soft in my opinion, but we'll see. Let's clear this edge. Yeah, this one's going to be tricky because it's a bit too soft. I did find when I first got them, it's really hard to use because it can seep underneath the bits of the stencil that you want. So we want some on these flowers. Use this lid actually. I'm already struggling to use this because there's no resistance, and so I am concerned that it's all going to seep underneath the edge of the stencil into places that we don't want, but I will persevere and we'll see how far we get. Trying to decide, do we want some green on these other bits that I guess are either hair or leaves, or do we just want pink and silver? I'm not 100% sure yet. I need to be doing this as a live really, don't I? Then I can ask you guys what you think. Should I do the pink and silver or add in a little bit of green as well? It's yeah, so have any of you guys used these particular pastes? These are Glitterpaste is the brand. Obviously I know there are lots of texture pastes out there. These are the only ones I have. I do have an ingredient. I do have a recipe to create your own texture paste, which if I can dig out, I think I might do. I've bought the little pots, my little airtight Tupperwares to put them in to keep them airtight. So I might have a go at making my own and see how they compare, which will be interesting because it's yeah, it will be interesting. Obviously there's a lot of things available on the market in terms of crafting, but I do think, like with my alcohol inks, obviously the brand ones are going to be brilliant because that's, you know, that's what they do, that's why they're created. But I do sort of think it gets so expensive, and I'm really not wanting to purchase loads of new things. It's quite hard at the moment with, you know, the lockdown and things, but B, I just don't want to keep spending money. I love crafting, but you know, I'm the first one to admit I've spent probably way too much money on craft things, especially recently, because while I've been off work, craft's been kind of keeping me sane, because, you know, I can do an hour a day or whatever and then be finished, and then I can go and chill on the sofa and relax and sort of try and work off and relax the pain and, you know, get over it. So craft has been really useful for me while I've been off. keep me sane, gives me something to do. And it's not over the top, so it's not, you know, wearing me out to the point where I have to be in bed the whole day the next day. I have started to figure out my limits. I don't like admitting that I have them, but I have started to figure them out. And craft is definitely something that A, makes me feel good while I'm doing it, but B, it gives me that, it's a sense of accomplishment as well. Sort of, you finish a project and it's like, yes, I can achieve things. I'm not just, you know, useless. And I do have this habit, it's a very bad habit since I've been ill, of calling myself useless on an almost daily basis because I can't do what I used to be able to do. And I know that is bad. Do you know what? I'm just going to get some little bits of green for these sort of leafy shape bits. And this is trickier because this is not quite back to the right sort of consistency, but we're getting there. Problem is, I don't want to go too long because obviously, as I said previously, the paste does start to dry on the stencil, which I don't want. And the pink's been on there while I was sorting out the green. Thankfully the silver is actually okay, so once this is done I can just whack the silver on and be fine. So yes, so yeah, how are you guys? Talk to me, tell me, give me some comments, tell me how things are where you are. You know, do you still have lockdown procedures in place? Do you have a bit more freedom? You know, where are you at? I actually think, and I know everyone's going to go, oh, you're just saying it because it's Ireland, but I actually think Ireland's plan is the most sensible and structured plan that I've seen. It was very clear, very concise. There was no ambiguity at all, and I think that's what we needed here and we didn't get. Theirs is very clear. They've got their steps. They've got a 3-week spacing in between each stage so that they can assess, they can see where the numbers increase, decrease, what have you. And I think their system is going to be the most successful in my opinion. I could be totally wrong. This is just the impression I get from what I've seen on the news and stuff. And I was kind of hoping that here in the UK we might follow that. But instead we've got this, I don't know what, ridiculous, convoluted thing that contradicts itself at every single turn and is so vague that it's dangerous. It's tough. It is tough. You know, I totally feel people's pain. I'd love to go and sit on the beach. It was absolutely baking yesterday. I'd love to go out. I'd love to go and see my best mate who I haven't seen in weeks. You know, I'd love to see members of my family, but it's just, yeah. So instead of that, I'm focusing on crafting. And so I've done some really amazing YouTube collaborations recently. So please go and check those out, those videos out if you haven't seen them yet. So I did a pay it forward hop, which was a slightly different style of hop, because rather than everyone doing the same thing and you know, or working off the same concept, what we did was we were given a YouTube channel, and we went to that channel and we picked a video to use as inspiration, and then we used the technique or the style or the idea from that video, applied our style to it, our own sort of style and design to it, and went from there. And that was great fun to do. Yeah, I really enjoyed that, because obviously, you know, this is most of the point of YouTube, really, is to share ideas, get inspiration from people. Like, I see people who are incredible every time I'm on YouTube, and so we take inspiration from these people, knowingly or subconsciously. That is what we do when we're watching sort of more creative channels, in my opinion anyway. That's what we do. And so I feel like actually creating a hop where that was the entire point, was to case, so copy another video, was really nice idea, and I thought it was a brilliant hop idea as well. And then I was lucky enough to be a guest designer for June on the Crafters Castle Challenge blog. So I was a guest designer for June, and I am actually now on the design team. So every other month, so my months are July, September and November, I will be creating a project for Crafters Castle Challenge blog, which is awesome. I'm really excited by that, because it's just such a lovely group of people, and some really talented ladies on there. And there's a prize each month, and the prize is created by Tailor Made Cards for You, and her digital collections are brilliant. So I used the Another Cup of Coffee in my June design project, and I'm using another one of her digital collections for my July project, and yeah, I'm quite excited about it. So so here is our lady. Oh, we've got a little bit of, yeah, I thought that might have happened. The pink was on there for too long. I'm wondering if I leave that to dry, we may be able to salvage some of it. Now, we're going to focus on our blue and purple peacock, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. I actually really don't like peacocks. I worked at a summer school for 4 or 5 years, and the place we worked at had peacocks, and the noise, I mean, these guys make so much noise. So we had like a week of training, just to recap, to go over health and safety, all different bits and pieces beforehand, and then it was 2 weeks working with the kids. So it was a 3-week block in my summer of just listening to peacocks making the most awful noises. So yeah, it's I love them. I think they're beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, but noisy as, oh, noisy as anything. And it's such a sharp noise as well. Like, it's really quite hard to describe the noise they make. It's, yeah, I genuinely don't know how to describe it to you. It's horrible. It just grates on your ears, in my opinion. It definitely did for me anyway. I know not everybody disliked it the same as I did, but I really didn't like the noise. And I don't think I'm that bad with noises, like nails on a blackboard does get me. But you know, things like tin foil and teeth and knife and fork on a plate, that sort of really doesn't bug me. The scraping of this can a little bit, which is why I think they do give you a plastic palette knife to be a bit less scrapey noise. But I think I'm normally alright with noises, but oh, those peacocks. But that was so much fun. I used to love doing that in the summer. It was 3 weeks of just so much fun, because the people that I did it with were brilliant. They were just such lovely people. And the kids were just so much fun to be with. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, it does sort of make me wonder, thinking now, like, are these things going to go back? Because now, I was supposed to be getting married May 23rd, 2020. That was our wedding date. And it was booked. The hotel was booked. We'd found a hotel doing exactly what we want, because we don't want a sit-down meal. We're just not the sort of traditional sit-down meal style people. Daryl and I were just not. And so we'd found a hotel in Ireland where we wanted, that would do it how we wanted. Brilliant. So we were originally going to get married in May 2020. Then my sort of the flare after my operation just made us all worry, and we went away at Christmas and saw family. And you know, they were saying, like, you know, how are you going to do this when you know, you've got 3 or 4 hours a day where you're out of bed? Because back over Christmas it was still really bad. And I was so ignoring all of their comments, like, I'll be fine, we've timetabled it so that I can have a nap between getting married and the evening, like the meal and stuff. Our photographer knows we're not going to have loads of like staged photos. We're going to do a couple, but we're not going to have loads of them, because that's not what we want. That's not us. So our photographer knows that, you know, it's going to be fine. Plus, I was getting a little bit worried because I really wanted my nan at the wedding, and she's been quite ill recently. And so I was like, no, we can't delay it. I'm not doing it. I want my nan to be there. You know, I'd rather I'm tired during the day and she's there than me be fine and my nan not be at my wedding. So I was very much anti everyone's opinions. And then we came back after Christmas and just sort of sat down and genuinely thought about things, and I was like, do you know what, they're probably right. I probably should think about delaying the wedding because of, you know, the fact that I won't be able to do the whole day, blah blah. But I was still very much against it, and I spoke to my nan and she said, no, do you know what, delay it because I'll be fine, it'll give me time to recover, it'll give you time to recover, and things will be better. So I was like, right, okay, fine. On her advice, fine. I'm going to listen to anyone else, but I'll listen to her. So we delayed it till October 2020. And sort of, hotel had that date available, that was fine. Still could have had exactly the same setup, so everything was looking good. And then obviously all this stuff with the virus happened. And so we provisionally delayed it till May 2021. And the lady that we were organising the wedding with said, yep, that date's available, that's fine, I'll provisionally book it in. Then we got an email from the hotel manager saying because of everything else and everyone being pushed back and blah blah blah, that can't happen. So currently we don't have a wedding date. Just know that it's not May 2021. We're hoping for October next year, which would be, you know, 18 months after our first wedding date. But what they said was, you know, they couldn't guarantee in October this year or May next year that we'd be able to have the meal that we wanted. Because of social distancing and everything else, they were being very wary of the situation. So it's been pushed back again, and it's a bit frustrating, but hopefully it means we can still have the wedding that we like. Anyway, completely off topic, here is my peacock. Oh, I really like my peacock. There we go. Okay, let me go and pop this in the bowl of warm water. This has actually affected my life quite a lot. And yeah, it's frustrating to see all these people just taking advantage really of the fact that our government is so rubbish. Because all I see when I see pictures of these people on the beach and doing whatever and ignoring social distancing, and even the other day in the chemist, I had to go and pick up my prescription, and this lady just stood, literally I could feel her neck on my breath. I had to turn around and ask her to move, because she was literally on top of me, and I'm like, it's just and every time I see it, all I can think of is, wow, that's my wedding pushed back another 6 months. That's my wedding pushed back another 6 months. And, you know, yes, we could, you know, change it and do a little one with, you know, 4 people there and what have you, but that's not really what either of us want. You know, we're not big traditional wedding. That's not what we want at all. We kind of just want to get married and have a big party, but it's the big party with our friends that's the bit that's compromised at the moment. And, you know, obviously I do feel sorry for everyone who's had a birthday while this has happened. My other half had quite a large birthday, actually, quite a big birthday, and yeah, I mean he's going with the decision that it didn't happen, so he hasn't aged this year because he didn't celebrate his birthday properly, so therefore he hasn't aged, which I think is, you know, a great way to look at it. So we're going to have his big birthday party next year, if we can, if life is back then. And I just worry because you get all of this stuff, especially with the schools, you know, they're wanting to send back 4 and 5 year olds, and I understand, you know, it's a long time for them to be out of school and it's going to affect their routines and everything else. Trust me, I get it. I've worked with children who've been diagnosed with autism, and I understand the lack of routine and the change in routine and how disruptive it can be and everything else. But they're expecting, schools have been open. A lot of schools have been open throughout this whole thing because they've been looking after frontline workers' children, and I think it is admirable, and I wish I could be in school to help, but I can't because of my vulnerability rating. But, you know, the people, especially in that I know have been working in schools have been working without PPE. They are available for parents to contact them from 7 AM to 7 PM on the days that they're working. And all of this with no thanks, in fact, with papers like the Daily Mail vilifying them and saying that the unions are stopping them working. No, teachers have been working the whole time. It's the fact that you're not willing to reopen Parliament and have you all in a room together, but you're willing to put loads and loads of little kids together. Because, you know, 4 and 5-year-olds are renowned for not putting things in their mouths and for staying apart and listening to, you know, the scientific reasons why you can't go and hug your best friend. You know, it's just dangerous. And I understand that life has to get back to normal. You know, I want my wedding. I totally get the whole prospect that life has to get back to normal. And the quicker the better for children and the economy and all of that. I understand that. I really do. But if you're not prepared to have a bunch of allegedly well-educated grown-ups who understand the risks in a room together, why are you willing to put 4 and 5-year-olds in a room together with staff who have been working tirelessly with no support? I understand clapping for the NHS, that's brilliant. And they are doing an incredible job with very little support, with awful pay, with, you know, all the stuff that always has been. And for some reason, this god-awful government thinks that, you know, if we can clap for them, that works just as well as giving them PPE and a blooming pay rise, which just sickens me. But they are at least being recognised, and I think that is brilliant, but more by the common person than actually anyone useful. You know, teachers and NHS workers, and not just teachers, to be honest, all school staff, teaching assistants get paid an atrocious wage. I was one for years, I understand that. You know, the cleaners of schools, caretakers, office staff, you know, all these people who have also been put at risk with less PPE than medical professionals, because allegedly all of the people they're working with are healthy. But A, that's impossible to know because there's very little testing going on. And B, I just think, yes, so sorry, gone off on a bit of a tangent while doing this one. That was completely unintentional, I apologise. Alright, let's take this tape off. But yeah, I want everything to get back to normal. I fully appreciate that we need to because of, you know, the economy and everything else. But A, our economy wouldn't be quite so buggered if idiot people hadn't voted to leave Britain, to leave Europe. But that's a whole other kettle of fish. I'm not going to get political. I just don't think that 4 and 5-year-olds is the way to go. I appreciate year 6 because you need to get them ready to go up to secondary school, which is a big change. That I appreciate. But the majority of year 6 children will at least vaguely understand the situation. Whereas the children that are 4 and 5 just won't. But anyway, so there is... Do you see what I mean by the pink? It's slightly too runny. So the centre of the flowers is pink. But overall, I think that's a lot better than the original. Now that one... Okie dokie, so we have our pink and silver lady's head. We have our steampunk red and gold piece. And then we have our blue and purple peacock. So once these are fully dried, they will be trimmed down, ready to go on a card base. And what I'll do is I'll pop a picture up in a second to show you how they look finished off as cards. So yeah, thank you very much for spending time with me today, guys. Keep crafting. I'll see you soon. Bye.